What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise post-game show. The Blazers get a blowout win over the Minnesota Timberwolves. The starters were able to get some rest tonight, and this was overall an enjoyable game. After that letdown against the Chicago Bulls, it was nice for the Blazers to come out here and get a dominant victory over what is the worst team in the entire NBA right now. We got a ton of decent performances to talk about. You had Damian Lillard with his best performance of the season. You had Jusuf Nurkic with his best performance of the season. And you had the bench lineup actually outscore the other team's bench for once. So It was nice to get a generally well put together game. Not to gloss over any of the other issues. There's obviously still things this team needs to work out, and pretty much any team that plays against the Minnesota Timberwolves will look good right now. I don't want this to necessarily make you guys think that this team has put to bed any issues whatsoever, but I'm happy that they were able to take care of a very, very bad team and were able to get things going offensively. Hopefully this is a get-right game for Nurkic. Hopefully this is a get-right game for Damian Lillard a little bit. Lillard hasn't been bad, but this was definitely more of the Dame that we saw last year that we got tonight. So anyway, what's going on, chat? Hope you guys are having a good night. Welcome in to this post-game show. Let me know what your feelings are in the chat about this game. Eric, what are your feelings? What are your takeaways from this one?
It's just nice to have a comfortable win. Several players played well. It's good to see Nas get some run there. Scored a basket.
Nice step back move too.
Yep. It looked smooth. But yeah, just I was happy they got the lead. I was happy they came out the second half and increased the lead to about 30 at one point, and not let off like they did on Tuesday night.
Yep. Shout out Westbrook for the $2 dono. He says, "We doing golf rules with picks against the spread." I don't know what you mean by golf rules. This was a pretty bad day for a lot of people in terms of picks against the spread.
Well, Westbrook in particular, pending the outcome of the last game, is 0-5 right now.
I think that'd be 0-6, including the double down.
There's the one game that's yet to be determined.
Yeah, he's 0-5 going into this last one. Yeah. I am 1-4 going into this last one. So yeah, it's not much better for me. It's not, the Cavs didn't help us out. The Sixers blew a game. You have COVID issues with the Sixers. We can touch on that a little bit later. We'll go over the box scores and whatnot.
The Cavs won.
They didn't cover, though. So, yeah.
Grizzlies are favored.
Oh, were they? Okay, yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. We'll cover the NBA. But you have some COVID issues coming out right now with the 76ers that we'll have to touch on. It's kind of the first time you've had, like, a legitimate issue pop up in the middle of the season. Of course, Houston and OKC had their opening night matchup canceled, but this it'll be interesting to see how the NBA handles the situation. So we'll touch on that because at some point this season, it's likely that situation might happen to the Blazers or against a team the Blazers might play. So it's just part of what goes into the season. We will touch on that after we recap this game. My takeaways from this game are They pushed the pace well, which I like to see, especially the bench unit. And Carmelo actually got the team running with the bench unit, which was nice to see. There was a play where he looked like Draymond dribbling the ball up the court, jumping up and down, waving for guys to move a certain way. That was cool to see, I guess. I want this team to play at a faster pace. And, if you're not going to run many sets in the half court, try and push and transition and get a mismatch then. Try and push and transition and get opportunities that way. And I like that bench unit did it. I think that bench unit needs to run more instead of walking the ball up the court and throw it into somebody in the post, since that's been their MO with that unit so far this season. Shout out Shaggy Squid, $2 Australian dollar donation. He says, "Good game. Stats didn't change anything. # fire Stats." I mean, I don't know if I want to go in on Stats or anything, This was a game where we can relax on the post-game show. We'll have probably a lot more games like the last one. I want to enjoy this one. And I'm glad I don't have to drink on this one either, since last night I promised you guys if we lost this game, I would drink on stream, and that was something that I really did not want to do.
That'll be fun, though.
Nope. Near 012, $5 donation. Please talk about how we had 25 fast break points. It looked decent. Yeah, man, I like the way we push the pace. I'll touch on that a little bit more in a second. Shout out Westbrook, $5 donation. He says, don't let this game distract you from the fact that Stotts is a bozo. So, yeah, this definitely, there's some people out there that, I mean, me included, this didn't really do anything for my opinion on Stotts or anything, but we're not really going to focus on that a whole lot. Really, the only difference I saw in this game compared to past ones, for the most part, was we pushed a lot more. Shout out Near012, another $5. He says, Stotts changed his rotation. Yeah, we'll touch on like kind of some of the bench guys being able to play extended minutes and that effect on the team and whatnot. Was there a specific change before that, or is that what you're referencing, Near Zero? Because we
first half it was the same, but just Hood was back. That's the only difference.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we'll touch on the bench guys, including Nasir making his season debut and all of that. But overall, the bench unit ran pretty well. Canner played solid defense. He had 2 steals, 2 blocks. That's pretty rare to say. Carmelo had 3 assists. He had a couple nice passes, a couple passes sparking like a fast break or on the fast break, which, Carmelo is more of like a half-court isolation player, spot-up shooter. So it was kind of cool to see him be a part of a up-tempo second unit in the middle portions of this game. Other than that, they came out and trapped D'Angelo Russell at the start of the second half. They just switched things up and threw something at him, and it forced him to call a timeout. And D'Angelo Russell wasn't ready to see that. That's exactly what we're talking about in terms of switching up schemes. Was there anything else different that you saw in this game, like schematically or with some of the things the Blazers did compared to last game?
Well, first play out of halftime, they blitzed the pick, almost got a turnover. D'Angelo Russell was so surprised he had to call a timeout 8 seconds into the half. And so this is what we talk about when we say unpredictability is what they need to have, because that's a situation where if we would have maybe done that at the end of the Bulls game, Levine wouldn't have gotten a clean look at a 3 and maybe not have won the game for them. And we might be talking about being, 5-3 right now. So that's the kind of thing that, I mean, we only saw it that one time the entire night, but you could see how much it fooled the other team. That's why I don't get why. And Nurk ran it beautifully. He was in the perfect spot, and he pushed him up the court while he blitzed him, and he had nowhere to go. And then they used the sideline as a third defender. So it was a really great play. I just wish they would. Because you don't have to blitz every time. This goes back to what we keep saying. If they don't know what's going to happen coming off that pick, because I guarantee the next time D'Angelo Russell was like, oh crap, they're gonna blitz this time or whatever, and it kind of threw him off. He had a great first half, didn't really do much in the second half. So just a simple thing like that. It's not like changing your whole defense or doing a whole scheme. Just throw some different looks out there occasionally and get them to lose focus or lose their confidence in what they're going to get out of a pick and roll.
Yep, 100% agree. Couple donations to get to. You guys are popping off a little bit right now. JM, $2 donation. He says, loved how Anthony played. Great stream, guys. Appreciate it, man. We'll definitely touch on Anthony. He got a little bit more run than usual tonight. Shout out RIP Blazers for the $2.99 donation. He says, Dame, 3 steals and hit Dagger in Edwards' face. Yeah, it was nice for Dame to kind of go off. But Anthony Edwards had a game of his own. We'll touch on some of the Timberwolves that played well in this game. He was probably their best player out there tonight. He played extremely well, and he's shooting 28% from 3 on the season, but he hit some tonight. And if that dude can get his 3-point shot dialed up, then yeah, he could be dangerous. But it was nice to see Dame outplay him for sure. Just like Dame would out-rap him, man. That whole beef with Anthony Edwards saying he could out-rap Dame, and I don't know, Dame needs to drop a diss track on him, all of that. But yeah, I mean, you gotta give props. That guy played well tonight. Andrew Miller, $5 donation. He says, I feel like Ant could have had 7 to 8 assists if dudes hit the shots. LOL, good win. Yeah, Anthony was making some solid passes. I like his he seems like a little bit more of a floor general this year. and is making the right pass a little bit more and reading the floor a little better this year. We'll touch on him a little bit later. Appreciate the $5 dono from Andrew Miller. And then Shaggy Squid, $2 in Australian currency. I don't know what they call it, man. I need to like study my currencies, but he says Simon's passing was great. Shots just didn't fall. Yeah, he had 3 really good kick-out passes to open Rodney Hood threes. We'll touch on Rodney Hood as well. He struggled a little bit tonight, but, I mean, he's still coming off an Achilles injury, and then he's coming off this quad strain, so I wasn't really expecting him to do too much. Just got to get him back in the swing of things. Appreciate all the donations you guys have left so far. What were we talking about?
If there are any changes.
Yeah, so... I mean, I like throwing out a blitz, especially at halftime, so guys like are ready, so you can get guys on the same page or out of a timeout, I would have liked to have seen him do it again, and do it for a little bit longer than one possession. I would have liked to see it for like 3-4 minutes just to see what it looks like, especially against a team that you have control of like this, a team that doesn't really... I mean, they're not a good team, so you can probably get away with it. So this type of game is like the perfect opportunity to work on those types of things if they want. So hypothetically, they probably should have done it more, but it was nice to see it once, I guess.
Yeah. But, like, you see it executed so perfectly, and then you wonder... It's more like it makes me wish they would have, tried that in other games, but... That's another topic for another day. We'll celebrate this win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even feel like celebrating it. I mean, this is what should have happened. You know what I mean? We're not gonna harp on anything, obviously. And there's honestly not much to harp on from this game. I mean, this is what you got to do to teams that you're far superior than. That you got to beat them by 20. You got to get your starters some rest, especially in a season where the games are a little bit more packed in. There's not as much rest time in between games as a normal season. It's nice to only play Damian Lillard 29 minutes, only play CJ 26 minutes. Nurkic was playing great. If this was a close game, probably would have played 30 plus minutes. He only played 23 minutes. So it was nice to get some of those guys some rest and in turn get some burn for a guy like Nasir Little, who has not played a real basketball game since March. It was nice to get CJ Ellaby in the game, and he actually looked decent, man. I mean, we'll talk about Ellaby too. We have a lot of players to talk about tonight. But yeah, this is what you gotta do to bad teams. It's just like you look at the 2 games before this, man, and it's just probably shouldn't have lost to Golden State that second time, but I get it. Definitely shouldn't have lost to the Bulls. We should at least be 5-3 right now. At least we're back to 500. This is what we got to do in the future against bad teams. We hit shots tonight, and that's not what Terry Stotts is gonna say, but we just flat out hit some shots tonight.
Yeah. I think at one point in the third or second quarter we hit 7 or 8 straight threes. So.
We shot 44% from 3. What if this is a night we're shooting cold? I mean, we were up 30 and then we subbed in the bench unit, so maybe we're up 15 and keep the starters in. We're probably fine, even if we have a cold shooting night tonight. But overall, we shot the ball really well. You had Dame shooting 7 for 12 from 3, CJ 4 for 9 from 3, Derrick Jones Jr. 1 for 2 from 3. He had a great third quarter, probably his best third quarter as a Blazer, at least on the offensive end. Rocco 1 for 3, Gary Trent Jr. 2 for 5, Simons 1 for 2, Giles hit his only 3. So you had Melo 1 for 4. You had guys step up and hit the 3-ball tonight, and that definitely makes it easier against a bad team if you're just hitting shots as well. Would have liked to have not given up 117, but after 3 quarters we had only given up 80, so a lot of that was the end of the bench guys. It wasn't necessarily the starters, so it wasn't necessarily meaningful. We gave up a lot of points in the first quarters, but I thought the second and third quarters was the type of defense we need against a bad team.
Yep, but at the same time, I mean, we talked about this in the pregame. They were 30th in offensive rating without Cat, so you should be able to control teams like that. So I'm glad they actually did what they should do tonight. Like you said, I don't think they deserve any special credit for that, but it's good to see that they actually took care of business versus in games past where they didn't.
Yep. We got Terry Stotts' burner in chat. Yeah, we'll watch your interview. Maybe not. I don't really want to watch Stotts' interview tonight. It's not going to be that entertaining, I feel like. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard. Okay. it's hard to take away things from this game, man. Like, I'm sitting here just like scratching my head for takeaways, but you're talking about the worst team in the league that we played against, you know? Mm. So it's nice to blow them out, but there's not much you can take away. If we're evaluating the team at a contender level and we're evaluating what this team could do going forward, this game doesn't give me any indication of anything, you know? So in terms of just team-wide takeaways, I don't really have any for this game. Like, it might be time just to get into individual players. I don't know. Is there other things you want to talk about in terms of like team-wide or just takeaways based off the way the team played in general, or do you want to hop into the individuals?
We can hop into the individuals. The only thing I'd say is, I mean, we kind of touched upon it, but I thought the second unit had a much better flow to it tonight than it had in the past.
Yep. I definitely agree with that. And part of that was just running the floor and not settling for post-ups and just getting into space and making the right pass. And that's just basic basketball. But it was nice to see from the second unit because we haven't really seen that. Let's start with Damian Lillard, who had 32 points. Nope, this is the last game. I always do that. Let me pull it up here. Here we go. He had a better game.
39, 7, and 7.
39, 7, and 7. Here we go. Cool. I just click on, because I have a folder based on each stream, and I have like Damian Lillard, so I click on Damian Lillard, but it opens it from the last stream. Damian Lillard, 39.7 assists, 7 rebounds, 7 for 12 from the three-point line. He did this in only 29 minutes. Had this been a closer game against a better team, maybe he would have reached 50 and played 36, 37 minutes. Of course, you know, Minnesota is a terrible defense, so Dame was pretty much able to get whatever he wanted as well. He got hot from three. It was nice to see. It was nice to see him knock down some triples off the dribble, off the screen. He hasn't really done it at as high of a volume as he did last year. It was nice to see him hit a couple threes with range. I thought his shot looked good tonight. He was able to get to the rim and able to get some crafty finishes to go in around the rim. So it was nice to see him have a great game. This was really his first great game this season. He's had good performances, really good performances in a couple previous games, but I think this is his first great game of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And the efficiency was good. I felt like when he shot his threes, he was a lot more confident than he had been in previous games. Not that he's ever lacking confidence or anything, but you can just tell when he has that like killer instinct. Like, I don't know if it was the rookies' comments before the draft or what, but like he had a little something for him tonight, and I'm glad that he got it going. And then we'll talk about another person here in a second, but I felt like he did a good job of getting a certain important center involved in the game. There was a stretch where he passed to him like 3 or 4 times in a row and got him going. And I thought that could be a key to unlocking some of our season moving forward.
Yep, agreed. His 3-point percentage after this game is 38.4%. Everybody's talking about, man, his shot ain't falling. 3-4 games in, you had people saying, oh my goodness, his Dame lost a step. And I thought he didn't quite have the same level of burst, just like wasn't in the swing of the season. I think he looks a little bit quicker today than he did after the first 3-4 games. We had people asking if he was washed. And, oh my goodness, what's wrong with his shot? And I was telling you guys, like, bro, it's just a 3-4 game sample size, very small sample size where he's not shooting the ball too well, right? So like, that happens in the middle of a season. But because it happened at the start of the season, everybody was overreacting to it. Well, through 8 games, he's shooting 38.4%. That's pretty dang good, especially since he definitely gets some missed 3-point attempts where he's just trying to draw a foul, or he gets fouled and they don't call it. So, yeah, if he could shoot 40% again, that'd be amazing on the types of threes he shoots. That's why his shooting was so impressive last season. Just talking about a lot of deep threes, tried to draw fouls, and shooting threes. And I like him trying to draw fouls. He gets the foul call enough that I'm cool with like a very badly missed 3 if he thinks, he can draw a foul, because he draws it enough that in the end it's still inefficient play. So that's the thing. Like, bro, he's shooting 38.4% from 3. His shot was fine. Everybody was overreacting, freaking out after the first couple of games, and when you look at this, he is completely fine right now.
Yep, and I was never worried about Dame. He'll be fine no matter what.
Yep.
Maybe if this is a few years from now, and he starts to struggle, you can talk about maybe he's coming out of his prime a little bit. But he's right in the middle of his prime, at the peak of his powers, and I have no doubt that he'll play this way. I mean, maybe not shoot this well, but I have no doubt that he'll carry this team throughout the season.
Yep. Shout out to Reese, man. It looks like we're going to get the dub in this Mavericks Nuggets picks against the spread. Me and Reese went with Dallas.
Westbrook went 0-6.
Eric, Westbrook, Trevin, and chat went with the Nuggets. The Mavericks are up 7 with 10 seconds left. I know people in this chat have kind of been reacting to that
over.
game. That game went into OT. The Mavericks pull it out. Nuggets fall to 3-5 on the season. They have been a bit disappointing to start, but nice to get that, to salvage a win. So I went actually 3-3. That's not bad. Okay, I thought I was worse looking at the box scores. 3-3. I'll take 3-3 today. Yeah. So shout out Reese. High five, Reese. Good pick, man. Is Reese even in here? Yeah, he is. There he is.
They're
Tori.
all in here. Yep.
He says, Tori, we just too smart. Yeah, big brain. So
Reese, don't ever say you're just too smart when you're still like way below 500.
Reese's wait. Reese's
He went 3-3 today, and he's talking about how smart he is.
Wait, Reese's record going into today was 6-15. Sorry, Reese, but yeah. So now you're 9-18. 9-18. Yeah, I mean, bro, I'll be hype with Reese just because I am above 500, and we were the only ones who picked that game right. But yeah, the mods have had a rough start to the season in picks against the spread. If you guys want to watch picks against the spread, we start off every Blazers Uprise live with picks against the spread. We pick based on the games later in the day. That goes live Mondays and Thursdays over on our secondary streaming channel. Link will be in the description below. I don't know why my PS4 just randomly turned on. That's weird. I don't know if y'all heard that, but yeah. So I'll probably have to turn that off because.
Night, Tommy.
Bro, what is my... Okay, have any of you guys had a PS4 that just will randomly turn off and on every now and then? Have any of you guys ever had that problem? Because mine's been having that problem and just doing it right now. I heard the beep and it turns on. I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, let's move on and talk about CJ McCollum. We got CJ next, who also had he has a solid game. It wasn't, the typical game he's had this season. He was averaging almost 28 points per game going into today. He was the fourth leading scorer in the NBA going into today. But in only 26 minutes, he had 20 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, was 6 for 14 from the field, 4 for 9 from the three-point line. It's nice to see him consistently get at least 4 or 5 assists each game. He's averaging over 5 assists per game this year. He has really stepped up his play so far. I hope it's not just a hot streak. I hope it continues, but I think this is the best version of CJ McCollum that we've seen. I mean, he's had hot stretches like this before, but if this is who he is for the entire season, then this will be his best season of his NBA career.
Yep, I hope he just continues to play this way. He forces shots still, but you don't mind when he's that good at scoring. So, yeah, not a huge deal. It hasn't been in the past where you're just like, good Lord, pass the ball. Mm-hmm. But so yeah, he's getting the assist along with taking those shots. So I think it's once again making those shots a little easier because he has the threat of passing off of those versus just having the defense collapse on him knowing he's going to shoot it.
I do like that he's shooting more threes though, and he made that a priority. Not settling for mid range and shooting threes instead. I'd rather have a guy shooting 30% from 3 than 43% from 2, right? Because what's 43 times 2? That's 86. What's 30 times 3? That's 90. So 30% from 3 is more efficient than 43% from 2. In mid-range shots, you're not really going to get fouled on any of those. So it's not like you're attacking the rim and trying to get into the paint and get good shots in there, and you also have the chance of getting fouled. So that's the thing is, like, I wanted him to settle for less of those mid-range shots. Like, if he's going to shoot contested jump shots, just shoot him from 3. He's also extended his range out. He hit a pretty deep 3 at one point in this game. It looks like he's extending his range, kind of like Dame has done. Obviously, it's not to Dame's level, but it's nice to see him extended out a little bit further just to make him more of a lethal threat from there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the way he's playing so far.
Yep. Third guy we got to get to is the Bosnian Beast. We got Jusuf Nurkic, who looked solid today. 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 for 10 from the field in only 23 minutes. He started to get going. Was at the end of the second quarter when he had that stretch. He drove from the 3-point line and got a dunk. It was nice to see him take the ball strong there. And then he had back-to-back buckets after that, so 3 possessions in a row where we were able to get Nurkic a bucket. He looked a little bit more spry defensively. I felt like he looked solid on that end. Let me look at his turnovers, because I know there's a couple plays where he's passing a little bit sloppy. I think he needs to put a little bit more zip on his passes. He floats the ball a little bit too much. I like his vision, and I like working off him as a playmaker, but he definitely needs to improve that.
He also needs to stop forcing it when it's not there, because sometimes the defense is keying on him. He's kind of telegraphing it a little bit, and he needs to stop doing that, first of all, and second of all, like, if the defender's like right on him and the pass isn't there, don't throw it. You can always try it again later.
Yeah, but it was nice for him to finish well and kind of take the ball up strong. He didn't really do any of that flip shot crap where he just spun and was basically shooting the ball before he could even see the rim, because he's done that a lot this year. It was nice to see him just play an overall solid game, make, for the most part, sound decisions, take the ball strong, and play solid defense. This was kind of the Nurkic that we've been waiting on all year.
So Shaggy Squid said, "Don't overreact. Nurk was matched up on actual bums." I don't really care in this situation. He just needs some games like this to get his confidence back, and I think the more games he has like this, the more he'll start to resemble the old Nurk once he starts to get his momentum back. Although he didn't really do anything worthwhile in the second half. So you hope maybe he'd build on that a little bit. We didn't really need him in the second half, but he had that weird play where
I missed the 360 layup attempt. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I still haven't seen it.
Yeah, he got the ball right in the middle of the key. He had like 2 guys on him, and Roka is just standing in the opposite corner. You could hear him on the TV yelling, "Nurk, corner!" And Nurk tries to do some like reverse, like up and under spin move, and he like got front rimmed. Like, he didn't try to dunk it, he tried to flip it up, but he hit the front.
I'll have to find the clip. Somebody could tag me on Twitter.
It looked like a Hazonia layup from last year.
Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking. It sounded very Hazonia-esque, but I mean, 8 for 10, you'll take that in a heartbeat. You'll take the stat line tonight.
For his passing skills, he's got to pass that to the corner and get that open 3, get his teammate going too in that situation. But
100% agree. Fourth guy we got is actually going to be Derrick Jones Jr., who had 9 points in the first 6 minutes of the second half. Hit a 3, hit a driving shot where he hit like a little 10-foot jumper. Had a dunk on the fast break. Those were his 3 field goals tonight. Overall, I thought he did a solid job defensively on D'Angelo Russell. I still want to get him utilized better as a cutter, moving off the ball a little bit better, and on the fast break a little bit more. But it was nice to see him have like a little mini scoring outburst and drop like 9 points in 6 minutes. It was nice to see him get going a little bit.
Yep. And just for the record, NBA 2K, you didn't get blocked or banned because of Portlandia. It was all your own actions, and I saw all of them. No one ratted you out. It's there right in chat for everyone to see, so don't try to blame someone else for your actions.
Quit being,
I gave you plenty of warnings, including your last warning earlier tonight, and you still couldn't take the message, so you're done, dude.
I mean, every time you post, and I know it's you, I'm banning you. Quit being childish. I warned you a million times, but you can't control yourself in chat. Like, if I warn you time and time and time again, I'm not your damn parent, man. I'm not your parent. Don't make me parent you in chat. Don't make my mods parent you in chat. Don't be childish. Like, I warned you time and time again, and you couldn't stop insulting people. So quit. Just stop trying to do this. You're obviously free to watch the stream, but don't sit here coming back in chat like personally insulting people and blaming people for your own actions. Those were your own actions. I don't want to have to parent toxicity in chat. All right, I warned you time and time again to keep toxicity out. This applies to anybody. Like, just be overall I don't know. Let's just not be toxic. As simple as that. Anyway,
but I like that he had one move where he drove and kind of pull up from about 8 feet and
Yeah.
hit the shot. Like, I think Hurd said this on the broadcast. Like, oh, let's expand on that. Let's see what you got there. Like, I'd like to see him do that versus just if he's struggling to hit threes, just like do some more, like try something else, cut more, try to drive more. Because honestly, a lot of times when he catches the ball at the 3 point line, there's no one within like 5 feet from him. So if he's not hitting his threes, you could take a couple steps in and hit like an easier shot sometimes. But or you could draw the defense and pass to someone else who's open. But yeah, I liked what I saw in the third quarter. And yeah, he didn't really take many shots outside of that quarter. So um, I just wish certain guys wouldn't disappear for long stretches, but it's hard to complain about the way everyone else is shooting tonight. It's not like we needed him to do much.
Yep. Next guy we got is Enes Kanter, who had 10.7 rebounds, didn't miss a shot from the field. He also had 2 steals, 2 blocks. Overall, solid game from Kanter. Made a couple of plays defensively, which was nice to see, considering how bad he's been on that end of the floor this year. He's been one of the most efficient bigs in the league, so he keeps that up by going 5 for 5. His true shooting percentage is north of 70%. And just a solid game for Enes.
Yeah, he was solid. I don't know why Stotts put him and Melo in up 30 in the like. Just give them some rest, dude. They're vets. They don't need to play like every rotation, you know. So I was glad they didn't come to start the fourth quarter. But yeah, so solid game from Canters. He really took advantage of his mismatch down there. Had a nice post up. Got several offensive rebounds, and he's just been super steady this year on the offensive end and on the glass. And yeah, defensively he wasn't too bad tonight. It's not like he had a tough matchup or anything, but yeah, I'll take this kind of game from him every time.
Agree. JM $2 donation. He says, "Would you consider releasing these in podcast form?" That is a consideration. I definitely like. Blazers Uprise Live, a lot of it is previewing games, so I don't know how that would work as like a podcast. Maybe take out picks against the spread. I'm not sure. I mean, I've thought about it in the past, but I don't know. I'd rather people like consume our content here. It would be nice to provide the option where if they couldn't tune in for a stream or something, they could listen to it as an audio the next day. But I don't want to discourage people from I don't want people to be like, oh, well, I'll tune in for YouTube streams, but since it's in podcast form, I'm not going to. Instead, I'm just going to listen to the podcast form. I like having people in here, so I've kind of wondered, would it discourage people from tuning in? I'm not entirely sure. But it's something that I've considered and will probably consider in the future as well. Next guy we got is, let me see here. We got Gary Trent Jr., who had 9 points, 2 for 7 from the field, 2 for 5 from the 3-point line, 27 minutes. He's kind of been a bit of a shot jacker this year, so to say, and he definitely got some looks up this game. I mean, played some minutes with the bench lineup with Alabi in the game, Anthony, Nasir near the end of the game in the blowout. I mean, do you have any opinions on Gary Trent Jr. from this game?
No, I mean, he played a little bit with the garbage time, fourth quarter. I thought he took a couple of bad shots when other people were pretty hot in that second quarter. But overall, yeah, I don't really have a lot of complaints.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a meh game from Gary Trent Jr. Not much to take away from it. Next guy we got is Carmelo. He had 3 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 for 9 from the field, 9 points, 21 minutes. I like that he got the team running. Like, he was kind of a catalyst behind the pace that the bench unit played with, and that was nice. And a couple of his post-offs came, a couple of his post-ups came from us pushing the pace and them getting cross-matched in transition and him having a guy like Rubio on him and then him going and posting him up. He hit at least one mid-range jumper. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. He also hit a 3. So it was nice to just kind of see him get the pace flowing. He made a couple really nice passes that got us buckets, and he had, I'm cool with posting him up against a guy like a Rubio, a smaller defender who's a bit more mismatched, but he wasn't really forcing that. He's not really forcing the post touches or the post shots like he was earlier in the season. I had Melo fans coming at my neck because I pointed out facts about how the team, there's a stat going into this game, the team was 17 points worse with Carmelo Anthony on the floor than him on the bench. They were 17 points worse with Carmelo on the floor per 100 possessions. In this game, he was plus 13. The bench lineup made a run. It was kind of close early on in that first half, and then the bench got in, and we actually pushed the lead out. The bench extended what was a small lead and turned it into a double-digit one. So it was nice to finally get the bench lineup actually outscoring the other team when they're on the floor.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the last two games, even though the Bulls game obviously didn't go the way we wanted it to, I felt like Stotts played him a little too long at times in that game. I feel like he'd be better in shorter bursts. You can give him more shifts, just shorter bursts of time. But I like the way he's looking for his shots the last two games versus some of the previous games. So yeah. If he continues to play like this, I don't think it'll be.
He had a good game last game. Blockboy says we weren't coming at your neck. We just wondered why he was the only one whose stats you looked at. No, I looked at everybody's. The next closest full-time rotation player was Enes Kanter, who was only a -5. The team was only 5 points worse with Enes Kanter on the floor compared to having him on the bench. Meanwhile, Melo's a -17. That's a huge difference, especially considering they play a lot together, and when they don't play together, Melo is usually playing with the starters, and you would assume, that would possibly help his case in that regard. So I just thought that was an interesting stat. Of course, you have to provide context with it. It's early on in the season. Last year we were 3 points better with Melo on the floor than him on the bench. Of course, he was playing ahead of Mario Hezonja, which isn't a high bar to clear, but it was just that was the stat going into this game. I think his style of play is improving though. I still don't think you want to pair him next to Kanter. For obvious reasons, Kanter is not a good defender, and Melo is not a good defender. You would probably want to give either one of those guys a little bit more help and try and stagger them a little bit more with guys like Rocco, Nurkic, Derrick Jones Jr., and whatnot. But, yeah, so, overall, though, I was very happy with his game against the Bulls. He shot the ball well. He made the right plays. He played solid defense. Tonight, he got the team running, made some nice passes. 4 for 9 from the field is okay, not necessarily efficient per se, but not inefficient. It's just a solid game overall. I think his shot selection is improving, and his style of play is better than what it was at the start of the season.
Yeah, I still don't like the stagnation when he gets the ball. I feel like we could really take advantage of the ball watching both by the other 4 players on offense and the whole defense. So I'd like to see them design some stuff to kind of use him as more of you could post him up, but in more of a decoy to get the defensive attention role. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd love to see them do more of that. But yeah, overall, I can't really say anything bad about his play.
Yep, agreed. Let's move on to the next player we got, because we got a lot today. 8th player is going to be Robert Covington. 3 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. He got going last game, and he was 4 for 9 from 3 tonight. 1 for 3, I think he's a little bit better than a 33% shooter, but that's not really all that inefficient just on a 1-game sample. I think I don't know. People will see this and be like, you need more offensively from Robert Covington. I don't think you do. Right, you need him to take open threes, spot up, and hopefully knock down 35% of his open threes, and then make the right pass. He is a guy that doesn't force shots, and sometimes it's almost like he gets knocked for that because he doesn't score enough points, right? And he hasn't been efficient so far this year, but I don't expect him to shoot sub 30% from 3. He's streaky on a 5 to 10 game basis. So he shot the ball well last game, didn't get many opportunities this game. 1 for 3. I wouldn't be shocked if he shot 4 for 9 in our next matchup. So I'm not worried about his offense whatsoever. He had 3 assists tonight. He made the right pass, and then you know what he's going to bring you defensively. So this is just a typical, quiet Robert Covington game.
Yeah, he did have a couple turnovers in the first half, first quarter actually, where he got a charge and then traveled on the next possession. So those are the kind of things where I like that he's not really needing of the ball, but he can't really turn the ball over that much too if he's going to be have such a low usage rate. So I'd like to see him not make mistakes. I'd rather him miss a 3 than get a turnover. Yeah, I mean, he's playing pretty good defense. I don't think we're using him right on that end. It was kind of weird how we had him on D'Angelo Russell for most of the first half instead of Derrick Jones Jr., knowing that Russell was going to be on the ball for the most part. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to really complain about anyone tonight.
Yep. Next player we got on the docket is we got Anthony, and he looks more like a point guard this season than last season. It hasn't really translated stats wise, but he's when he's been in the game, he hasn't really forced many bad shots. I feel like he did brick his first 3. It looked very, very bad. Looked like it came out of his hands wrong. But it's tough to balance what the franchise wants from him and what guys like Dame want from him, which is to be aggressive scoring the ball with trying to improve as a floor general. But I think he's done a decent job of it this year. He looks more composed, looks like he's more comfortable on the floor, and looks like he's just reading the game a bit better.
I think it would help him out so much if we ran some sets every once in a while, because we just throw the bench unit out there and we expect guys like Anthony to be like Dame is on offense, and he's not there yet. So I feel like that puts way too much pressure on him to score and to look good in that system where it's not conducive to making him look good. Because if they ran a play and he makes a nice pass and someone scores, you could say oh, look at him, he's setting up the offense with doing this. But their offense is just complete free flowing, ISO pick and roll. I mean, either he's going to score or create a shot for another person, or he's going to look like he's not playing well. And I don't like putting the bench unit, in particular the garbage third unit, in those kind of positions. I'd rather them just have some plays to run and get a flow going before you start going one-on-one and taking turns and stuff like that.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, so I want to see him used more as a cutter, backdoor lob threat. I want him to start dunking on people, man. I mean, the dude's so athletic. It's I don't know. I feel like he could be a legit off-ball threat, but with the bench lineup, he doesn't really get that opportunity a whole lot with kind of the lack of movement and passing on that unit.
He still could be a lot more aggressive, but I feel like on his drives, he's trying to take it more and attack the rim more. Then last year you saw points where his point of release was waist level on some of his lay-ins, and I think when you're that athletic, it's better to just rise up and shoot down at the rim than try to shoot up at the rim. So I like that he's being a little aggressive. I like that he can get to his mid-range and pull up. I like the way his three-point shot looks this year. I just think, I don't know. I feel like if we just had a little more structure around him, he would look better than just whatever that was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I've been encouraged with his development so far. Next guy we got is Rodney Hood, 2 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 1 for 6 from the field. I mean, he's coming back from 2 injuries at the moment. Coming back from the quad strain, coming back from his torn Achilles. I mean, he had a nice drive to the rim that got him a bucket. I think it was his first shot of the game, potentially. And then he had a nice drive where I think Jake Clayman goaltended that, but Jake Clayman had a really nice defensive play. Where Rodney Hood, I think that layup was going in. He got downhill in transition and got a shot off around the rim, which is good to see. It's good to see him push the pace and get the open court and actually be able to kind of get to the rim. Despite the great defensive play from Jake Layman. His 3-point shot wasn't falling, but I'm not too worried about that. He just the timing and whatnot was off with that. So it'll still take him time to get back. Like, I'm not really panicking or rushing him in that regard.
Benny Hewitt's panicking. Come on, Benny.
Come on, Benny.
He says, "What's wrong with Hood?" Yeah, he's coming back from Achilles. Those things take a long time. Most people aren't really back to the. Oh, well, some people don't ever become their old self, and a lot of people it takes almost a year of playing once you recover for a year before you're looking somewhat normal, at least movement-wise. So I think all things considered, he looks pretty fluid out there. He's obviously not 100% ready to go and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't read too much into his struggles, and it's not just because I like Rodney. It's just. I mean, I would have said this whether he was playing awesome or not. If he gives us something this early in the season, I think it's more of a bonus than anything else.
Agreed. You just gotta be patient with him. I know fans don't like to be patient about anything, but you gotta be patient in regards to him returning from his injury. Next guy we got a lot to get to is going to be. Let's talk about CJ Ellaby a little bit. He had a great block on, I think it was Ricky Rubio, a great defensive play, had a nice drive as well, and he looked solid in his limited minutes. You're just looking for flashes of stuff from him, and he showed you a little bit tonight, I think.
Yeah, he didn't look as nervous tonight as he has in previous games. He looked a little overwhelmed at times earlier in the season. I'm kind of shocked how many minutes he's getting. I wasn't expecting us to get blown out in several games and have garbage time the other way. But he's actually getting a little bit of trial by fire, more so than I would have thought he would have at this point in the season. But yeah, it's 4 points per shot's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just joking.
Once he starts hitting his jump shot, too.
Yeah.
Because he was looked at as a shooter, and he hasn't really. I don't think I've seen him hit 1-3 in preseason or the regular season. So once he starts hitting jump shots, then maybe you have something there. I expect him to kind of get going in that regard. He hasn't really yet, but it's nice to see flashes of other things beyond that, which we saw in tonight's game. Harry Giles played 11 minutes tonight, had 3 points, 2 rebounds, a steal, hit a contested 3 in the corner with the shot clock buzzer winding down. That was cool to see. It's cool to see him knock down some threes. Still want him to get more of a chance when the opportunity arises, but he got 11 minutes tonight. It was nice to see him out there on the court.
Yeah, I didn't think he played particularly well other than the 3-point shot, but it was good to see him get some minutes. I was hoping once again to see him instead of Cantor in the third quarter when we were up 30, just to give him some extended minutes, kind of reward him for not being much of a complainer yet and waiting his time. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for more when he plays, but once again, it's garbage time. You can't really read too much.
Yeah, I mean, I wish they would use it more situationally, but yeah. I mean, this whole game is there's not much to take away from this game. That's pretty much the premise of this entire game.
But see, I don't know, the Wolves were playing Jared Vanderbilt for center for half the game. That's a good matchup for him. I feel like I wish, like you said, situationally they just give him a shot to get some minutes.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean, but Cantor played well on both sides of the ball, so I mean. Just when certain situations arise, I feel like they should toss Giles in. When Cantor's really struggling defensively against a quick team, they should be willing to throw Giles in there in a game where it might be close, and it seems like he doesn't get enough of a chance. So nice to see him play tonight though, and drop a 3 in and get 11 minutes of run. It was also nice to see Nasir Little play tonight. Made his season debut. He's only played one game since March, and that was one game in the bubble where he tried to rush back from a concussion. Then he fainted during a practice, so he didn't play in the bubble. Then he had COVID before the start of this season, and had it bad too. But he made his season debut tonight. It was nice to see him back on the court. He had a really nice snatch back, behind the back, mid-range pull-up. It was a very smooth move. I like seeing Nasir do smooth things off the dribble and hit shots off the dribble like that. Just gets you excited about how he could expand on that in the future. So nice to see him on the floor. That bucket got me excited. That bucket was, just flashes of his potential.
Yeah. When they're playing garbage time and he makes a shot like that, it's like, go back to him, let him try another one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was nice to see him. I was so happy he got in the game. I was like, is he just active because he's active, or are they actually going to put him in the game? So yeah, it's good to hear that he seems to have all his troubles behind him, and that he should be ready to go now for the rest of the season.
Yep, and especially when the bench is stagnant and it's just a bunch of like Anthony isolation or pick and roll, just give the ball to Nasir and let him make things happen just for fun. Like, you know what I mean? Give the guy another touch after that. I was kind of disappointed they didn't go back to letting him try and do something off the dribble after that. But nice to see him out there on the floor. So that wraps up the Blazers players. We can talk about T-Wolves players in a second. This sweatshirt is like making my neck tense up, so I'm actually going to go change it. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about.
So my mom said after the game, Nurk said the beast is just sleeping, not dead. Well, wake him up, Nurk. Right? Wake him up. But he said he'll be fine moving forward or something. Yeah, I wish he wasn't sleeping. I wish he was wide awake, but I hope he awakens soon. That would really help the team out. Yeah, who cares? NBA forever. There's always going to be people who just likes the stream. Doesn't really matter. But if you do want to like it, it helps the channel out. But yeah, do what you want. Beavis says it seems like he's having depression issues. Did he say something about that or what? Yeah, Stacey, we can't do anything with actual game film. I mean, we've gotten around it a few times with some just like filming the TV with our cell phone seems to be okay in limited parts, but it's really hard to show it on the screen that way. But yeah, we don't have like a license to show NBA highlights on our channel like other places like NBA Outside or Blazers Outsiders does. Since they're on the actual Blazers channel, they can play whatever highlights they want of the NBA, but we can't do that here.
What was asked?
Oh, we're just talking about why we don't show highlights or whatever.
On the channel, yeah, we will get the stream destroyed by YouTube. And that's not something I want to happen. So I wish we could, man. We could break down a lot of stuff, and it would definitely add a lot to it. But I feel like we do a good job considering we can't use that type of stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been popping this pen a little too much and playing with it a little too much, but whatever.
Thanks, Wavy.
Yep. So let's talk about the other side. Let's talk about the other side of the floor. Let me pull it up on ESPN. An ad might play, but
So wait, you took off your sweatshirt to put on a different sweatshirt?
Yeah, that sweatshirt, like, I don't know, it's kind of tight.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. And it was just starting to like make my neck tense up, man. I need a back massage. Like, I need to go, I don't know. I need to go pay for a massage or something. I got all this neck tension, man. It's all this streaming, but this it's physically wearing on me streaming. So yeah, I'm putting my body out there on the line for you guys. You're but yeah, anyway, let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were led by D'Angelo Russell, who had 26 points, 3 assists. He was 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 7 from the three-point line. He looked solid tonight. Those stats were only in 28 minutes. He stepped up. Off the bench, they were led by Anthony Edwards in 31 minutes. He had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 9 for 21 from the field, 3 for 10 from 3. He looked good as well. You could kind of see why he was the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft with some of the things he did tonight. Beyond that, nobody else really stepped up. Malik Beasley, 3 for 13. Juan Hernan-Gomez, 3 for 8. Both those guys had 12 points. Naz Reid had 13 off the bench, was 4 for 7 from the field, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. Former Blazer Ed Davis didn't score. He started and played 14 minutes, but he is not like the Ed Davis he was in Portland, which is kind of sad to see. But, of course, that's what happens when you age. Jarrett Culver had 7 on 3 for 6 shooting. Former Blazer Jake Layman had 4 points, including a nice little drive in lane. It was good to see him. I think this is the first time he's played against his former team. Am I wrong on that?
I don't remember.
But anyway, it's good to see him out there on the floor. Jared Vanderbilt had 10 points for them. He was 4 for 7. He had 10 points, 10 rebounds, so he did have a double-double. That was their output for tonight. You just got a lot of very mediocre players or young players on that roster, and that's why it was nice to beat them like we did, because this is definitely not a talented roster they're putting out there right now.
For sure. And just one thing about Anthony Edwards, he is by far the most talented player in the draft, has the highest upside in my opinion. It's just his comments before the draft. I know they turned you off to him just as much as me. But I just don't think he's got the mental makeup to be one of the greats or be an all-NBA type player. I hope I'm wrong with that, because you'd love to see him succeed, and, maybe it's just immaturity or something and he can get over that. But based on his comments prior to the draft, you don't really make those comments if your heart and your work ethic is completely into basketball, which it didn't seem to be. But hopefully he can turn it around. I think he's got the talent to be at least a Wiggins level player, even if he doesn't really work hard at it because he's so physically gifted. Hopefully he works hard enough to realize some of his potential.
Yep, 100% agree on that. I don't know. If you guys want to know his comments, I don't even want to really go fully over the specifics of what he said. You guys could
basically just
look it up. But
he seems like he doesn't love basketball.
Yeah,
or he's only playing because
That's honestly the nice way to put it, though. Yeah. It wasn't good. I like James Wiseman more than him long term. He has talent, man, but he needs drive and he needs I don't know. He shoots a lot of questionable shots. He made a decent amount of them, but it's some of the shots he hit tonight, it was wow, he played really good. And then you look at the box score, 9 for 21 from the field, including 6 for 11 from inside the arc, which is solid. It's good. 3 for 10 from the 3-point line, 30%. That's about what he's shooting, and that's about what he shot in college. It wasn't a super efficient game for him. He's not a super efficient player, but part of it is just he takes a lot of tough shots, and he took a lot of tough shots tonight. He made enough to have a positive impact for sure, but he doesn't really play with much of a motor defensively at times. He has great defensive tools. He could be a lockdown defender if he wanted to be, but that's where my question marks with him come in. If he doesn't play with a motor, you're not going to be a good defender. It could be like an Andrew Wiggins type situation. Andrew Wiggins is not a good defender, and he probably should be a really good one. And then if he's taking a bunch of tough shots, is he really going to be efficient enough to justify his shot output? There's a good chance he becomes the next Andrew Wiggins, in my opinion, where he could maybe put up 20 points per game, but he's not going to help you win. And the thing is, the Timberwolves have a lot of players that have a questionable impact on winning. Karl Anthony Towns is obviously a phenomenal offensive player, but he's so bad defensively at the center position. It's hard to have a defense geared around that. D'Angelo Russell, I've never been a big fan of his. He's not a good defender. His efficiency is kind of and not the best playmaker at the point guard spot. So I don't know. They have a bunch of pieces on their team that I feel look nicer than they are. They don't have quite the impact on winning like they would seem to have. So I think that's reflected in kind of they're 2-6, one of the worst teams in the league without Karl Anthony Towns. Even with him back, I still think they are a bottom 3 team in the league. And that's with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Those are 2 all-star caliber players, right? But a bunch of these pieces I feel don't have a big impact on actually winning basketball games. And Anthony Edwards, there's a decent chance that he fits right along into that.
I feel like other than Cat, you can make this same statement for every one of their players. It's like if they just learned how to shoot, they'd be really good. And when you have a whole team of those guys, like, and no one can consistently knock down a three, you don't have a single person who can hit 40% from three other than Cat. Like, you see how badly they struggle to space the floor at times when they're not hitting their threes. So yeah, they definitely need to find some guys who are different from that mold that they've gotten so far. The last few years, they seem to have been, targeting certain guys, but you can't have too many of those, or you can have too many of those guys where they all are kind of similar players that can't shoot. You need like some people who are role players that can shoot the ball, in my opinion.
Yep.
100%. Like if they had like a Gary Trent Jr. on their bench or something instead of like a Jarrett Culver or something, they might actually be better, even though Culver was like a top 10 pick or whatever.
Yeah, I mean Culver hasn't really developed quite like they expected, but yeah, their pieces aren't really cohesive. That's another thing that I feel like goes overlooked is the cohesiveness of certain players. Just like Melo and Cantor aren't really cohesive on the court together. They have some players that don't really fit all that well next to each other, just given their strengths and weaknesses. But yeah, that was the Timberwolves today. You want to hop around the NBA real quick? We only had 4 games.
Sure.
All right. You had a surprise win from the Brooklyn Nets against the 76ers, and we can touch on what happened with the Sixers. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons played for the Sixers. The Nets were without Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Reports were Kyrie Irving didn't play because he simply just didn't want to play today.
Man, okay. Well, one, my feelings on Kyrie. I can't stand Kyrie.
Yeah.
But I really hope that's not true. Like, I really hope.
I can't.
If that's true, this guy is a complete, I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, but I can't stand that guy. And if that's true, that I'll never change my opinion.
People defending him saying, I mean, like, people call him to work, and Kyrie's just calling into work and saying he's not showing up for work today. Everybody does that. It feels a little different when you're talking about a star athlete, though, playing basketball, like, especially going up against a really good team. But thing is, Nets stepped up and won the game. They beat the 76ers, who were 7-1 going into this game. The Nets, playing without KD and Kevin Durant, put out a starting lineup that included Taurean Prince, Jeff Green, Bruce Brown, alongside Karis LeVert and Jared Allen. LeVert had 22 points, 10 assists, 7 rebounds. Didn't shoot well from the field, was 9 for 25 and was 0 for 5 from 3, but filled up the stat sheet a bit. Jared Allen had 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists. They've kind of been mixing up who they're starting at center, whether it's Jarrett Allen or DeAndre Jordan. It'll be interesting to see who wins that battle long term. Jeff Green had 14 points for them, Taurean Prince 13. They had 28 off the bench from Joe Harris, who was 6 for 9 from 3. He's trying to live up to that hefty contract he got this past summer. DeAndre Jordan had 11 rebounds, 4 assists. 1 for 4 shooting. So they got an important win. They screwed me up. I doubled down on the Sixers. All of us doubled down on the Sixers. Yeah. Should have just went against the grain and actually gained on everyone. But
so what happened for the Sixers? Mm-hmm. Minutes before the game, it was revealed that Seth Curry had tested positive for the coronavirus. And had to go into some sort of isolation situation. And so now the Sixers are stuck. I'm surprised they let him play after finding that out. And then now they're stuck in New York. They have to stay there in quarantine. I'm not sure how long they're going to make them stay there. But yeah, they're going to have to contact trace and figure out now who on both the 76ers and the Nets are able to play moving forward. So not a good situation. I was hoping there wouldn't be that kind of stuff. Like, it's one thing if you find out someone's positive before they make the flight and they stay home and maybe kind of limit their exposure to the rest of the team. But if he was on the team flight and then practices all week and stuff like that, it's probably not a good sign for the next week or so for the team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have this. I'm actually surprised you haven't had more situations like this year. The NBA has actually done a good job, but these situations will pop up. Joel Embiid said he's going to self-quarantine for a bit because he was sitting right next to Seth Curry or something recently. So, I mean, Embiid might have it. And...
I mean, some people are saying that or Cooper's saying that they found out in the middle of the game and he was on the bench. I don't know. I read something that they found out right before the game, but I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, the timing on that was a little weird. I also read that they found out during the game, but he wasn't in the game, so I feel like they knew. But if he was on the bench, then why was he on the bench? Like, I don't understand it.
I don't get the point of extensive testing if you don't find out before the event. You know what I mean? Like that happened in the World Series too. You know, you have a player removed like in the middle of the game. It's like, how could you not have like found out the results before the game or tested early enough to get the results back before? And I don't know.
Yeah, Reese says he was already out with an ankle injury, so that's why he wasn't playing. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how that situation develops. We don't play either of those teams anytime soon, so it shouldn't affect our schedule. But it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Other than that, you had 3 other games today. I'll quickly gloss over them. You had the Cavs beating the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are 2-6. It looks like last year was maybe a little bit of an overachievement. Of course, they are playing without Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant. They've had Kyle Anderson step up for them this season, but it's still not enough. They played, I mean, you just look at their bench. They're playing Desmond Bane 24 minutes tonight. They played Xavier Tillman 20 minutes tonight. They're having to play Grayson Allen. I mean, they're playing some very young players. They were led by Jonas Valanciunas, who had 17 points for them. Brandon Clark had 14, but they don't have enough firepower. I think they could very easily fall out of pretty much any chance of the playoffs very early. They're already 2-6. They're one of the worst teams in the league right now. There's that good old ESPN ad. Was waiting on that. The Cavs have been playing decent basketball. They're 5-4. They're actually above 500, believe it or not. Drummond had 22 and 15 for them, along with 3 assists. Shetty Osman had 16 points. Larry Nance Jr. was 7 for 7 from the field, including 4 for 4 from 3. He had 18 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals. They were missing Kevin Love, Colin Sexton, and Darius Garland, and still got this win against the Grizzlies. So they've been playing very solid basketball. Might be a team that could hang around, but I don't know. I look at this roster and it's not as bad as it would seem. You got Drummond, you got Love. Larry Nance Jr. has been playing good. Darius Garland has stepped up and played a lot better. Colin Sexton has been really good this season. They got some pieces there.
Mm-hmm. Like Reese says, your favorite, Isaac Okoro.
Isaac Okoro, 39 minutes, 8 points. Yay. 3 for 9 from the field. At least he hit a 3 though. He's 1 for 4. That's pretty good for him. I'm still not high on Isaac Okoro long term. I wasn't high on him in the draft. But I mean, he's been, I don't know, he's been okay. Like, they need defense, so I understand the pick. I don't think he'll be anything all that special. Will probably be a starter, but I don't think he has all-star potential like other people seem to think. The Mavericks beat the Nuggets in overtime. This was the game that a lot of people in chat were watching. They were led by 38 points from Luka Doncic. Doncic also had 13 assists, 9 rebounds, was 1 rebound off from a triple-double, had 4 steals as well, was 13 for 22 from the field, 2 for 7 from the three-point line. He also shot 15 free throws in this one, making 10 of them. And then they had a pretty well-rounded effort behind that. 14 from Josh Richardson, 14 from Finney Smith, 12 from Boban, and 11 from Tim Hardaway Jr. The Nuggets had 38 points from Jokic to match Doncic's 38. Jokic had 11 rebounds, 4 assists to go along with his. Jamal Murray had 21. He's not playing like how he was in the bubble, though. I know everybody was kind of expecting, a big jump up from Jamal Murray, but I mean, he is getting you 22 points per game. But I mean, people were expect. How much did he average in the bubble? Do you remember?
I can look at his playoff numbers.
Yeah, because he was averaging like 26, 27 a game. If I recall correctly, maybe a little bit more. He was balling. in the bubble, and he hasn't really replicated that so far this season.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious on that. Monte Morris had 11 off the bench. JaMychal Green had 10.
So, yeah, in the playoffs last year, he averaged 26 and a half
Mm-hmm.
with 6.6 assists.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting about 4 assists a game right now and 22 points. They're going to need more from him if the rest of the roster kind of plays like this. They haven't gotten much help outside of those two guys so far this season. Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell's been kind of the same situation where you expected after playing so well in the playoffs last year that he would step up his game this year too.
Yeah, and you had some players like break out in the bubble last year that haven't really replicated that. And Jason Tatum was actually talking about that. He was doing some sort of podcast or something with Tyler Hero. It was kind of a weird combination. There's somebody else on it, but he was talking about how like it seemed like certain guys were playing better in the bubble because it was the bubble, and they were stepping up, and he didn't know if it was because there was no fans or just because of the atmosphere, like, or what it was. But some players were playing better in the bubble than normal and kind of overachieved. You look at like T.J. Warren, Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell, like a lot of players that just were absolutely insane in the bubble, but have kind of fallen back down to earth now. T.J. Warren's out, but yeah, it's kind of interesting to see that.
Yeah, but you think, this current situation isn't that much different than the bubble other than they're going home to like families afterwards. So, but the actual games themselves don't seem that much different than the bubble atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting to kind of compare how players played in that bubble to how they play outside of it. Last game of the night, the Spurs beat the Lakers today. This was their third matchup this season. The Spurs finally got a win against them. The Spurs have been solid this season. They moved to 4-4, and of course, 3 of those games were against the Lakers. They haven't had an easy schedule, but they're still at 500. They were led by LaMarcus Aldridge, who had 28 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. DeMar DeRozan had 19 points and 8 assists. So they still got, those two fringe all-star level players. You might want to call them. I don't know if you'd even consider DeRozan that anymore, but guys that have been all-stars in their past and know how to play the game. DeJounte Murray had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 7 from 14 from the field. Lonnie Walker had 14. Rudy Gay had 15 off the bench. And the Spurs put together a good defensive effort, holding the Lakers to 109 points. LeBron had 27 and 12 assists, 8 for 15 from the field. Anthony Davis was 11 for 17 from the field for 23 points, 10 rebounds. But outside of that, they didn't get much. Kuzma was 6 for 16, not efficient. Portland 13 points and 10 rebounds. Montrezl Harrell had 10 off the bench. Taylor Horton Tucker had 10 off the bench, but you look at Dennis Schroeder, 27 minutes, 6 points, not going to get it done. Marc Gasol started, only 4 points, not going to get it done. Markieff Morris, 13 minutes, no points. You still have some questionable role players there in LA, and I feel like that's kind of their weakness, and that's why I'm not, I'm honestly not that scared of them. Obviously, they won the championship last year, but I don't feel like this is anything like a Warriors-type team where I expect them to definitely win it all again. I think this team, just their supporting cast and how some of those pieces fit, there's definitely some holes in this roster.
Yeah, I don't know if I go that far. They're still going to be really tough, especially in a 7-game series.
I'm not saying they're not the favorite. I just don't think it's like a definite thing that they're going to like win the West necessarily.
Yeah, but that's also why it's so frustrating to lose games like we did on Tuesday and to lose to Golden State and stuff. I feel like if we just would get off to the hot start that the Blazers all preached that they had to do this season, I mean, we could be talking about in a few weeks being in control of the West versus fighting for a playoff spot with all these teams once they start to get things rolling and figure things out with their new rosters.
Yep, I agree. So that's around the NBA. We can take your questions for a little bit. This is probably going to be a little short stream than usual. Not much to take away from tonight's game. So leave your questions in chat or whatnot, or beef with Portlandia, since I know you guys love to do that.
He says, are the Blazers the favorites now because we beat the worst team in the league? No.
Yeah. What's Maddie laughing at?
I don't know. She's probably watching some TikTok video or something.
Yeah, man, those kids and those TikToks, man. I've never used TikTok, never hopped on that once. But yeah, leave us questions in chat. How did Blevins play? He didn't do anything notable. Like, I mean, it's Blevins. Is he ever going to do anything notable? Do not insult Portlandia. I mean, come on. He has his opinions. Like, and trolls. You can call somebody a troll. I don't care about that. But some people go overboard, and I'm tired of having to police it.
Did Nas look skinnier? Yeah, he looked like he had lost some weight. Obviously, he's still trying to put that back on.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I don't know if he was like 100% or anything, but he looked fluid running around. It's just good to see him on the court.
Yeah. Blevins' cousin washed. Really, Westbrook. Somebody says they will trade Zach. Probably not.
Do you think we're more or less stagnant than usual?
What, tonight or compared to previous seasons? Thoughts on Draymond? We did talk about that last stream. I don't want Draymond unless we get a new coach that implements an offense like Steve Kerr has. I don't want to get Draymond Green just for Terry Stotts to stick him in the corner, kind of like he's stuck Derrick Jones Jr. in the corner. I don't want that.
It was we had 25 assists tonight, so I mean that's still not great, but I'll take that versus getting 20 or less. So
yeah. Also,
no, Brother Fencer we just answered that question like 30 seconds ago. No, he's not getting traded.
The thing is with trading for Draymond though is it's going to be hard to send out enough salary to make that happen because I think he's making like $25 million. So,
and unless we make some sort of secondary trade with Houston to unprotect the pick, we can't trade a first or anything like that either. So
we could hypothetically word it as 2 years after our 2021 first conveys, but that gets a little tricky when trying to do that.
Not with this particular pick because it's protected through 2027, which is the last possible year, so you can't word it that way.
You can't word it where such and such pick conveys 2 years
No, because
because I've seen that.
Yeah, but if it doesn't convey until 2027, then it wouldn't. Like, how do you do it when it won't?
Then if it doesn't convey by then, it becomes a 2027 second. Can't you word things like that?
I think the other pick we gave is worded that way. So they can't.
I mean, I don't know. I've seen picks worded like that.
No, I'm saying the way it's worded, you can't do it because it could become a 2027 pick, but we owe Houston our 2027 pick if it doesn't convey. So there's literally not a single pick we can make it say happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be a first-round pick, but you're telling me you couldn't word it like...
Not when the pick is protected for the full amount of 7 years of draft picks that are it's protected for. Yeah.
You didn't even let me finish, so whatever.
Well, we could call Houston like Cleveland did with us and be like, hey, can we change the protections later on, give you less protection in a year to make it that way? So there are ways around it. Just yeah.
I mean, it's not good. That trade's not going to happen. Like, I don't expect a trade this year. I don't even really want to talk trades. Would Jim Boylan be good for us? I hope that is a trick question because Jim Boylan is not good for anyone.
Yeah. Yep, I agree.
Westbrook, screw off with that crap. Hell no.
Wasn't a dad voice. I was just saying what I interpret the rule is.
Yeah, and definitely he ain't got any sort of authority like that over me. Come on now. Oh man. Morrison, aka Bread, says even though we only had 25 assists, most were in the first 3 quarters when the actual rotation was playing. Do you know how many assists we had at the end of the third?
I didn't happen to see that number, no.
Let me.
But I know when we're hitting our threes, and most of them or not all of them, but some of them were due to like making an extra pass. That's always good to see. And
Yeah.
just numbers.
I mean, Giles didn't have an assist. Little didn't have an assist. Blevins had one assist. Hallaby didn't have an assist. Simons only had one assist. And that was pretty much the lineup that was closing. So I do kind of believe that. Gary Trent Jr. didn't have an assist. So you're talking about max 2 assists in the last 8 minutes there. Maybe only one, since Blevins did get an assist. I don't know if Simon's assist came in the. Did he even play in the third quarter? He only played in the fourth. So I guess that's 2 assists in the fourth quarter for the most part. Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
Would be nice. Dude, I wish, and I feel like it'd be simple. I feel like you could easily do, quarter-by-quarter stats for teams on ESPN. I wish they would do that, where, you could click and see the stats for a team in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. That would be really nice to be able to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they have largest lead 33, and they have game progression and stuff, and winning percentage over each play of the game and all that type of stuff. And it's that seems harder to do than quarter by quarter stats.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I thought we moved the ball well. Part of it was just we were pushing the pace more and making plays downhill instead of trying to work out of the half court and out of a stagnant set, so to say. Bro, okay, I gotta talk about this play. I haven't talked about this play. You know that play? It's the classic play. The point guard has the ball up top, and the guard runs up. They pass it to the guard, who then passes it immediately back to the point guard. And then that guy keeps running. You know which play I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
The play that Ricky Rubio got a steal off that meaningless pass.
Yeah.
I was that play was kind of cringy. What is the purpose of that pass? Why do they have to make that pass?
I don't know.
I don't understand that. So yeah, I definitely.
But people think that's going towards the basket or something.
I don't know. It's just bro, why he can run through without you passing him the ball. It's to get Dame his dribble back, but most of the time Dame then puts the ball back on the floor again, or I don't know. I don't understand the purpose of that. It just seems like a meaningless pass just to make a pass. It's I want good ball movement and meaningful passes, but that set, that run around the arc set where they give it up to somebody just to give it back, it's super cringy when the defense gets a steal off that, because that pass isn't accomplishing anything, and then they get a steal off of it. That was definitely the play I cringed at most this game.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, we'll keep taking questions in chat if you guys have them. If not, we'll log off here. There's not a whole lot to really talk about from this one.
I think I know your answer to this. Would you ever get a Blazer tattoo?
No, I will never get a tattoo, man. I mean, I shouldn't say never. I will. It's very unlikely I ever get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Very unlikely. I don't know. I'm just not into having tattoos myself. Somebody else can have them, cool, whatever, I have nothing against the appearance of them or anything. It's just I don't want I don't know. I feel I'd regret it, you know what I mean? And then it's I don't know.
I just don't care enough to go.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't bother me. I don't have to have one or anything. But yeah. If you like getting tattoos, it's all.
My mom probably wouldn't like it, honestly. Yeah. So, yeah, my mom wouldn't. I don't think my mom would like if I got a tattoo. I don't know. She's pretty chill about things. She's always yeah, don't get tattoos. You'll regret it. And that's actually kind of stuck with me. That's kind of how I feel So, I don't know. Maybe I need to rebel instead. I don't know. Get sleeves, man. What if I just showed up to a stream just in a cut off shirt and just was tatted out? Would you guys rock with that, chat?
That'd be funny. John Doe just says the trade machine. I don't know what that means. You're gonna get a tattoo of ESPN trade machine on your arm or something? If the Blazers made the biggest trade of all time and got your favorite player Jason Tatum or something, would you tattoo the trade machine thing?
Jason? No, I'll tattoo the tweet I'll tattoo
The
the.
tweet.
No, if Terry Stotts gets fired, I'll get the tweet tattooed on my bicep and I'll just flex it. Yeah. I do not need a mullet, Jose. No, thank you. My hair starts to curl when it gets that long. It'll be like straight for like a couple inches, 3 inches, and they'll start to curl, and it looks weird as hell. So yeah, I'm never going down that route, however you say it. What's the proper pronunciation there? Route or route? Never going down that route. I said route.
Yeah.
I'm dumb. Bro, I've been like groggy all day, so
It's all
my
right.
energy is just not there, and my
I had to
focus
wake you
on
up
the.
earlier, I think.
Bro, I like, what's like, I'll take melatonin to try and fall asleep, and sometimes it won't even work, but when I wake up, I'm just groggy for the rest of the day sometimes when I take melatonin, so like, that was kind of the issue today, and I'm still like groggy, so my energy and focus on the English language is not there at the moment. But Will Gibson says, check out some videos of Zelkjo Orbadovich. Orbadovich. No,
I'm going with Orbadovich. That sounds cool. Coach Orbadovich.
I feel like in the first name one of the letters is like silent.
Right.
Like Zelko. It's like Zelko. Orbadovich. Something like that. Did I say it right? Stacey E says I would stop watching Blazers Uprise if Tori got piercings. Even if it was like an earring or something, if I was rocking earrings. I would never do that. I don't need to be like I don't need piercings and tattoos, man. That would do absolutely nothing for me. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that. A back tattoo, Reese. What? Yeah, I don't know where this show is going right now, but Gordon says route or route works in the state. Only route is correct for UK English. Got you. Satvi says, who's your guys' favorite player in the NBA? I'm gonna assume he's never watched us before. Damian.
No, I think he's talking about outside of the Blazers.
Outside of the Blazers. I don't know. That's a tough one. There's like multiple guys that I like. I probably wouldn't put anyone above. Any of my like ex-Gonzaga guys I like. So I like Rui. I like Rui more than Brandon Clark though. Olynyk. I like Olynyk. Jake Layman I like a lot. Like some former Blazers I like. Jake Layman I like. Will Barton's pretty cool. I like Jason Tatum's game. I've always liked Jason Tatum's game. I like Chris Middleton's game as well. Domantas Sabonis is another guy I like. Former Gonzaga guy, but I like his game too. And I respect Giannis for staying in Milwaukee and kind of his backstory. I like Giannis.
Yeah, I like Giannis. I just don't like the way he plays sometimes.
Yeah. My favorite NBA...
But I like him overall. Like, I like him as a person. I like overall,
yeah.
But yeah.
My favorite NBA player is definitely LiAngelo Ball. I mean,
because you could beat him 1-on-1.
Yeah. So the better he does, the better I would have hypothetically done or did. Dude, why can't I speak English today?
I did.
I cannot speak English today. Yeah, no, I mean, like if he becomes an all-star, then if I tried to, I would become a superstar because I'm just automatically better than him. I would beat that guy 1-on-1. That guy's overhyped. Speaking of NBA players that, I will live through. Peyton Pritchard, I blocked him once, and now he's balling out in the NBA. So man, I should have stuck with the dream because I think I outplayed him when I matched up against him, and I blocked his shots. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to see him in the NBA because when I played against him, I was like, I hadn't really seen him up close. And he just looks like just such an average short, a little bit like he was a little bit stockier in high school, short, average, stocky guy, It's like this guy is the guy that's really good. And then when we played him, he didn't you could tell he's talented by the way he the way he moved, way he dribbled, way he you could tell he's reading the game, but he didn't play well. We almost beat Westland, talking about their state championship team and everything. We almost beat him. I think we lost by 5 or 6 and. I don't know. I didn't expect him to one day be hitting game winners against the Miami Heat, dropping 20-some points on them. But, it's cool to see. It's cool to see, like, a local product. I'm not a Ducks fan or anything, so I know Ducks fans, like, love him a ton, local product and an Oregon Duck. I'm not a Ducks fan, but it is cool to see, like, a local Portland product kind of make it to that stage and kind of break out. It's cool to see.
Yeah, what's funny is, other than Beavis and maybe a couple other people, I have a lot of similar stories and experiences, but no one really knows a lot of those players. So
yeah, you're talking about your days balling in the 70s, huh, Eric?
Yeah, 1970.
Yeah. Yep. Shervin says crazy to see a 6-foot white dude from Westland make the league. Can being 6'1" get you into a Division II college? Says Clayton Cook. Not just being 6'1", trust me. Like, I didn't get to Division II college, and like, I can handle the ball, I can shoot, I can defend. Like, like, you gotta be good, man. I went and played community college, and I thought I was just gonna dominate, but literally everybody there was like the star of their high school team, and like, we went up against teams that started like a 6-foot guy, a 6'4" guy, 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", like, and that's community college, man. That's not even D2. So people underestimate how good college basketball is, especially like kids in high school. They underestimate how good like even community college teams are and Division II teams are and whatnot.
And if you're 6'1", you have to have an elite skill to even get to the Division II level. Like, you have to be a extreme ball handler, like an elite passer. You have to be like a lights out shooter. Something, you have to have some sort of skill that can set you apart from the thousands of other people who are also 6'1" and white.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, man. Yeah, I mean, if you're still growing, then hope you keep growing for sure. Height would definitely help, but you gotta be really skilled. Like, even if you're 6'4", man, at the Division II level, like, you're gonna be a 2 or a 3, so you need to be able to play on the perimeter, shoot, handle the ball well, and you're gonna be going up against guys that are like 6'4" and athletic. Like, that's the thing. You're going to be going up against guys that are your height, but, like, legitimately, like, athletic at that level. Like, that's the thing. Going up against community college guys is, like, being 6'4", it's, like, everybody was at least as athletic as me, if not more. So it was, like, hard to adjust, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a crafty player, but I didn't have much experience. So for me, like, my problem was I played post in high school. I should have played on the wing because I felt like I had the skill, but most of my touches came in the post. And then when I get to college, then I'm put out on the wing because, like, in open gyms and whatnot, like, I could showcase the skill and handle the ball and whatnot and shoot. So I was kind of like a stretch 4 in their system. They ran a 4-out system, but I wasn't used to playing on the perimeter, like, in actual games and whatnot. And then we had a really deep team, so it's like one mistake or missed shot, and I get taken out. And it was just, like, mentally, it was a struggle, like, playing my first year in college. We were a really good team. We finished 4th out of like 33 teams. Should have honestly probably made it top 3, but so yeah, that was my one college season. That was like the story behind that. If I went back, the next year's team was awful. I would have went back and maybe been the best player and maybe averaged 15, 20 game. I don't know. Like, I would have had all the minutes in the world and like the longest leash in the world and been allowed to like actually like get a good feel for it game in, game out, and like have the confidence knowing I'm not getting yanked. So it would have been curious to see how it would have went my sophomore year, and then I could have maybe, depending on how well that would have went, maybe I would have needed to lift more. I wasn't strong enough, honestly. That was part of it, but I could have maybe gone D2, D3. I'm not sure, but I stopped playing after my first year. I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So, but I can say I played college basketball, and every hater that on Twitter that says, "Bro, you sound like you've never played the game," I can be like, "Bro, I played in college, man." So that's the reason I did it, right?
Funny.
But yeah, I mean, I did not enjoy my one season of college basketball, though. I did not enjoy living in Tri-Cities. I don't know if any of you have ever been out there. It's not a fun place. I haven't talked about college basketball in a while. I noticed like last stream I was getting a lot of questions on it.
Yeah, as soon as we're able to play pickup games again, we'll for sure do that.
Yeah, we won't do a live stream of us playing one-on-one, Jose. We'll like rent out a gym.
You could actually come and watch if
Yeah.
you're in the area.
Or come and play. We'll like get some runs going. We'll like rent out a high school gym and have like everybody pitch in a couple dollars, and if they're showing up and whatnot. Or if it's cheap enough, I'll just pay it whenever. Like, I don't know how much it is, but definitely like at least want to rent out a gym and get some runs going. It'd be cool to do like a video a month of like runs, you know. That would be fun. So like once everything blows over, then that's the plan for this, especially in the off season. You know, hopefully like this off season it's kind of under control, but we gotta wait and see.
Yep.
I definitely want to play one-on-one versus a 24-year-old Eric though.
That'd
Like
be
a
fun.
younger Eric.
That'd be fun.
But
That time machine.
are you sure? Pineapples goes to my gym. He says Lakeshore is opening Monday. That's the gym I go to. Are you sure? He's probably gonna extend that, I thought. I don't know. I want to get back in the gym, but also with how bad it is right now, probably not the smartest, you know? But, yeah. Anyway, you're not.
You never see me play rec league.
Bro, you gotta shoot more threes, man. I feel like you could hit threes, and that would make it easier for you to do that, but you never shoot them.
Yeah.
I need more threes from you. I wanna. Next time we play Rip City 3-on-3, I wanna win off of like threes,
Okay.
which will probably backfire, but like we know you can flatten guys like 503 for the fans. Little 503. Trevin, that's as Eric would say, that's cap. Clayton, mixture of Jimmy Butler, Gordon Hayward, Luka Doncic. Eric's out here taking Jokic. I'll take a mixture of those three guys.
Yeah.
Now you shoot better though. Oh man, we're probably gonna wrap up the stream, unless you guys have a couple quick, good questions. Mike B says, I can tell Tori's a ball hog. That's actually straight lies. Passing is probably my best skill.
He actually says, I can't tell Tori is the ball.
He said can at the end.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he changed
you're
it.
tripping, my guy, man. Honestly, my rec league experience is me getting mad at guys for not cutting because I want to throw them a dime and get them a bucket. That is my rec league experience. It's literally me, like, when I'm watching a game, I always get pissed off, like, nobody's cutting, no movement. When I play rec league, like, I'm just trying to find guys. Like, I'm trying to score too, but I get a lot of attention, so a lot of times I'm, like, wanting guys to cut and wanting to throw dimes. And, you know, so I generally try and, like, put people on my team who I know how to cut and whatnot, and or at least can shoot, so I can just kick it out. But, yeah, so... Westbrook. We are. You want to start that debate again this year, Eric?
No, it's
Eric is
We'll
a good passer.
okay.
I am a good passer. All right.
Listen,
When we get runs going, I will try and outshine him in terms of passing. All right.
we will have like 5-on-5 games, hopefully full court, and we will. You guys can determine that for yourselves.
I'll take being Chase Budinger because he played in the NBA, so I should have played in the NBA too. Then by that comparison. But yeah, we'll get runs and we'll have the footage, man. I will throw some dimes for y'all, and then
Don't be like Franco and almost fumble it out of.
yeah. If any of you guys have seen the Rip City 3-on-3 vlogs from last year, granted it was, you know, I don't know. I played kind of like shit, but I hate playing outdoors. That's the thing. That's why I want to rent gyms. I'm not like a street ball outdoor player, you know. I like my hardwood, but Yeah, no, there's a clip in that Rip City 3-on-3 vlog that I posted. I think it was like a year and a half ago. I throw this dime to this guy cutting back door. He didn't even look at it. Ball just fell in his hands, and he like realized it was there, and then laid it in. But yeah. So I don't know, man. I'm tired. I'm like trying not to yawn and trying to stay awake, man. I need to figure out something other than melatonin, honestly. But yeah, Bakel says, bro, when COVID ends, there's endless opportunities for 3-point contests and other competitions. Yeah, it'd be cool to like get some Blazers Uprise fans and have them do a 3-point competition or something and give away merch and make it into a video. Could definitely do some fun like off-season stuff when we don't have much content to do. That would be fun. Just community-based stuff, and it's still basketball-based, so it still kind of fits, and could be a fun thing to do for sure. Bro, Clayton getting deep, man. That's a deep question.
Is that basketball wise or just
yeah, we talking about like
we could take that a low number of different
is this like life? Was this life advice? Meant basketball. Don't mess with your shot too much. I messed with my shot too much. My form was fine in high school, and I messed with it too much. I don't know. Like, obviously, the cliche thing is work harder, right? But, honestly, I was in the gym a lot. I probably could have worked a little smarter and gotten better that way. But, I don't know. A key, like, if you want to get like detailed with it, like learn footwork and learn how to like. Yeah, footwork, place more of an emphasis on that. I feel like I didn't do that enough.
Yeah, I would tell myself to don't goof around as much during the summer, and do what I did after my senior year in high school, and that is get a membership at a gym or a place. At the time, it was the Hoop in Beaverton, who had like every night like 6 courts of pickup games, and you had to start on the bottom court and work your way up and stuff like that. And that summer I learned like basically how to be a point guard at 6'6" and handle the ball. And like if I would have had those skills like a year sooner, yeah, things could have turned out differently. But
Pineapple says there's no covered courts in Vancouver. I have no idea what you're talking about. There's multiple. You can go to Philida Elementary, go to Sacagawea Elementary. There's multiple covered courts in Vancouver. I don't think there's one at Lakeshore, but yeah. Sacagawea was where I always went. If any of you are from Vancouver, that's where I always played pickup ball. If any of you are Couvians like me.
Honestly, it'd be cool if we, after we ran for a while, if we had like enough decent players that were into this, maybe just joining like a rec league or playing in a league, just maybe just one time or something. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. Because like I have my rec league, and that'll start back up at some point this year, hopefully. That's like Tuesday, Thursdays. It'd be cool to be in like a second one. I want to get in better shape, man. I need to get in better shape once this is all over, and I want to try and Chief and making excuses for when I beat him one-on-one. Chief and I haven't been playing either, man. So it's all about natural feel and natural skill. Because Chief has been talking for over a year about how he could beat me one-on-one. But yeah, so I definitely need to like lose weight and try and become quicker and like do like actually legitimately work out, because I've never legitimately worked out. So
dude, your PlayStation is going crazy.
That's my chair, actually. I need to stop circling on it. My PlayStation has been on. I turned it off, and it's like the sensor is like glitched out, and it will like randomly trip and turn on. It's annoying. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, we'll get runs going at some point. That'll be fun to do for sure, and play basketball and meet some of you guys in person. That'll be cool. I definitely look forward to that. Once everything blows over, obviously this whole situation has put a dampen on some of those plans, but once this is over, there will definitely be some runs and whatnot. We can actually play some legitimate basketball, and I'll turn it into like videos, hopefully, and obviously need somebody to record it and and whatnot, but that would be fun to do for sure. Anyway, we're going to wrap up this stream. We'll have the stream after the game. Who do we play next?
Kings on Saturday, I believe.
Yeah, we play the Kings, and then we play a game in between, and then we play them again. Who's that game in between?
It's loading. Let me just find out for sure what time the game is. It's 7 o'clock Saturday for the Kings. Then we play Toronto Monday at 7 as well. And then Wednesday at Sacramento again.
That Toronto game will be interesting because they're 1-6.
Mm-hmm.
They've lost to the Pelicans, the Spurs, the Pelicans again, the Suns, the Celtics. Like, they have really struggled. Siakam has struggled too. They not looking like a playoff team. It'll be interesting to see if they can like reverse their fortunes. They do play the night before ours against Golden State on the road. So our game is the last of a 4-game Western Conference road trip for them, and it's on the second night of a back-to-back. But that is like a team that's playing bad, that's not bad on paper, so to say. You know what I mean? And it's a well-coached team. So that'll be interesting to see if the Blazers can pull that one out. I mean, we're going up against Sacramento, who's been playing decent basketball. They're 4-4. I mean, their game against us is after they play the Raptors. It's on the second night of a back-to-back. So the next 2 games are teams on the second night of a back-to-back. I mean, you got 3 games coming up. 2 against the Kings, 1 against the Raptors that we can win. That we're possibly the best roster in all 3 of those games. You know, Toronto is debatable, but they haven't been playing well. They've been playing even worse than us. So, I mean, it'd be nice to stretch it out to 7-4 and like actually rattle off a winning streak. But I mean, we played well tonight, so I expect us to lose against the Kings. Like that's just the way it is this year for us.
I'm proud of both myself and you, Tari. We didn't get too hyped about this.
I know.
Like last year, we were like, yes, we won. Like, here we go. We're going to go on a win streak like every time we won, and then we were let down. Mm-hmm. So I'll wait till it happens this year to get excited.
Yeah, the only time we've won 2 games in a row, we beat Houston in OT, and then we beat LA. But the thing is, that Houston game, we didn't play well. And then we played well against Los Angeles. We've played well in 3 games this year. We played well against Los Angeles. The next game, we lost by 23. Then we played well against Golden State. The first time we played them, the next game, we lost to Golden State by 15. Tonight, we played well against Minnesota, beat them by 18. The next game, if it follows the pattern, we're going to lose by 15. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. You know, I'm not saying we will. I'm just saying that that's kind of been the early season pattern. So, hopefully, they can buck the trend and put together 2 good games in a row and actually, like, start to build some momentum and build some consistency, because right now this team hasn't been consistent. That's why I'm not super high on this game. You know, it was nice to see them come out and do what they were supposed to do against the Timberwolves, but I need to see it consistently, and I'm not going to get too high on this team or anything this team does until they do so consistently. So that's what I'll be looking for from these next 3 games. And then after these next 3 games, we literally have a 7-game homestand against a bunch of easy teams. So January is super easy. We need to build consistency. We can't have too many games like we did last game against the Bulls. And that's, you know, if we want to give ourselves a chance at getting a top 4 seed, we have to win a lot of these upcoming games.
Absolutely.
So anyway, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Blazers get the win against the Timberwolves by a score of 135 to 117. Dame, Nurkic, a lot of guys looked solid tonight. We will have the stream on Saturday night against the Sacramento Kings. We'll have the post-game show for that one. Hopefully the Blazers can pull out that win. We'll have to wait and see how this team looks like. I have no idea what to expect from this team, and I'm just going to wait and see and just hang on tight on this roller coaster ride of this season so far. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Make sure to subscribe to our second streaming channel, Blazers Uprise Live, if you haven't done so. That link will be in the description. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. I'm at ToryJonesYT. Eric is at HoopsJock. The channel is at Blazers Uprise YT. All 3 of those links will also be in the description below. Shout out to all my channel members. You guys help me out, and I appreciate all the support you guys give me. Shout out to everybody who donated tonight as well. I greatly appreciate it, and I greatly appreciate all you tuning in and giving us your loyal support. It definitely means the world to both me and Eric. So anyway, absolutely. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. We will catch you in a couple days. Until then, hope you have a good one. As always, we'll see you later. Peace out.